Pulp MX Network production.
EVS Sports brings you a cheeky Brit and an American YouTube racing sensation weekly on the LVK More Than Moto podcast. Here's your hosts, Lewis Phillips and Kellen Brauer.
Welcome back to the LVK More Than Moto podcast, brought to you by EVS Sports here on the Steve Mathis Podcast Network. I am Kellen Brauer from MotoOnline.com. Lewis Phillips from Vital MX sitting in studio with me tonight. Night show, LVK After Dark, Lewis. We're doing a little bit late tonight because we got busy weeks.
Yeah, and it's quite nice, actually. We had a little therapy session beforehand. Sorted out some stuff.
Yeah.
I feel a bit lighter now as we start this podcast.
Got your shoulders lifted
Yep.
in this process, and now you don't feel the weight of the world upon them anymore.
It's still there,
Yeah.
but I feel like I can ignore it for the next hour at least.
Yes, because we can instead talk about some really interesting topics today. We got one more round of Supercross left to go. So starting off with that, does it feel like the season's like gone by fast, or are you like, okay, finally we're here?
Yeah, well, I actually said this to someone at the weekend. This is my first time doing all 17 rounds. It's not as heavy as I expected. Like, you would think going into the first time you do all 17 rounds, you'd get to the end and be like, oh, that was a grind. But I feel completely like sad that it's coming to an end. And like, if they said that there's another 10 Supercrosses, I'd be like, yeah, cool. Like, I kind of feel like as good as I did at Anaheim 1.
All right, well, good news, Lewis. There's actually 11 pro motocross rounds coming up.
Yeah, I believe they may be more tiring.
They might be a little bit warmer, a little bit longer of days, a
Yeah,
little bit more grind, right?
Not as many amenities,
Yeah.
which is hard because it's so hot that you need the amenities.
How many actual nationals have you like been to?
Only Parla, Hangtown, and Thunder Valley.
Well, I mean, like in terms of total, like 10?
3.
Like you've never done more than 3 nationals ever?
No, in my life, I have attended
Oh,
3 nationals.
so this is going to be like a real... I'm actually excited to see this experiment
I may die.
because there's going to be some very hot rounds.
Well, I'm not doing a high point, so I don't know if that...
No, High Point's not
Okay.
usually one of the ones that is a killer.
I'm going on a field trip.
You've never been to Redbud?
Nope, never done... Well,
Well,
apart
I
from
mean
nations.
for the nations, but like you
But that was wet.
you asked me in the press box this weekend, is Redbud good?
Yeah.
And I said it's good.
Well, you know, the riffraff
Yeah.
that they get there.
I mean, you're going to see America's pride in its fullest this summer.
And I will be very happy to observe that.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some of our topics today here. We got 6 on the table. We're going to have 2 Race Tech fan questions this week because we skipped last week to continue our WSX talk. And if you missed that, definitely tune into that. That's the only time we've ever gone double time on a topic. And
Yeah, and I could have done another WSX segment this week because I've got a lot of new news, but
we'll save it. We'll save it
alas.
because there's probably news coming, correct?
Well, you'd hope so. To be honest, if we had put money on it last week, I think we both would have bet that by the next show, being this, we would have some sort of announcement.
Something? Hopefully?
A new era is upon us.
Question mark? New era is upon us.
That was the tagline, right?
I think so.
To begin with, I'm pretty sure it was a new era is upon us, or it was.
You mean like for the original series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely a
It was-
new era
it-
of something.
The
yeah.
future's here or some, whatever it was. Anyway, before we get into our topics of today, just a big shout out to EVS Sports. Experience the pinnacle of knee protection and injury prevention with the EVS Web Eclipse knee brace. For over 39 years, EVS has relentlessly honed their engineering expertise, consistently delivering award-winning knee braces. This legacy of excellence is embedded in every facet of the new Web Eclipse, which represents the culmination of their tireless dedication to innovation and rider safety. Use code LVK30 to save 30% off today. Also, shout out to Namura for presenting the show, the leading provider of engine components for motocross, ATV, UTV, and personal watercraft for over 2 decades. Namura has been the preferred choice for premium and dependable engine components for more than 20 years. Whether you're restoring your vintage bike, rebuilding your four-wheeler, or upgrading your new 450 race motor, Namura has you covered. Our extensive line of cast and forged pistons, connecting rods, gasket kits, engine valves, and soon cylinder kits that enhance your engine's performance. Keep an eye out for our new and innovative products in 2024 and beyond. Stay up to date by following us on Instagram at Namura_technologies. And a shout out to Racetech. Again, 2 fan topics today. But for 40 years, Racetech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. For modern and vintage, Racetech is your go-to source for suspension performance. All right, let's get into our first topic of the day. And if you're new to the show, we do these 7-minute topics so that we get in. We really kind of try to dive through them a little bit quicker and get out and don't keep you guys all day long. So 7 minutes on the clock. And we've got a 250 East-West showdown coming up this weekend. And we have 2 red plate holders in the 250 West division. It is a tie, Lewis Phillips, RJ Hampshire versus Levi Kitchen.
Great work.
I know, we're getting there. Who gets it done?
I believe that it could be anticlimactic because whoever gets the start will win the championship.
Really?
Well, yeah, that's quite obvious, isn't it?
Yes and no. Because
if you think back, has there been a time this year where either RJ or Levi have passed the other one after starting behind? Because St. Louis, Kitchen swept, but he whole shot every time. Seattle maybe? Did Kitchen whole shot? No, Kitchen whole shot Seattle. This past weekend, they stayed in position.
I'm really trying to think about the Triple Crown at A2. That's the one I'm trying to go back to.
Yeah, I have no memory of a 250 class there. Well, Kitchen won.
I thought that they actually... One of them caught the other in like race 2.
I have no memory.
I think Kitchen came from like a decent ways back and caught RJ.
All I can tell you is Kitchen won the overall, and that is the extent of my memory.
Here's why I don't think it might go the way that we're all thinking, which is it's start dependent. The showdowns are always kind of throw curveballs at us in regards to the fact that like what we see throughout the season isn't always what the showdowns give us. And I think that the heightened pressure of this and them both being tied kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. This was a normal round in Denver, so we saw kind of a normal race. Kitchen was on his game. RJ was on his game. They just both had their situations work out where Shimoda won the race. But you could make a point that either of them could have or should have won that main event in Denver. And so I think in Salt Lake City, I think there's a situation that even if RJ starts 7th and Kitchen starts 2nd or 3rd, RJ will go bananas to get to him. And Kitchen, being in this position for the first time in his career, might not be 100% himself.
Yeah, I don't really know Kitchen, but for some reason that has never entered my mind because I feel like he is just quite go with the flow.
He's really relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually surprising that it has not once entered my mind. How will he handle this?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe RJ will handle this by just going all out.
as hard as he possibly can until...
So that's I'm kind of fairly set on that. I mean, it's actually funny. I was thinking about this earlier. So, realistically, before Nashville, we were all certain that Kitchen was just unstoppable, the best rider. Realistically, though, it was really just the Seattle and St. Louis doubleheader that made us feel that way, because before that, Glendale, etc., it wasn't that way at all. But we all kind of, such recency bias, really jumped on what happened in Seattle and St. Louis hard.
Yeah.
When actually now, if you take a step back and look at what happened before and after those rounds, it's not as much Kitchen's world as maybe a lot of us, including myself, have presumed.
Yeah.
I mean, right now they are tied. Same number of wins, tied on points, same number of wins. Kitchen now has one more second place after this past weekend, but heading into the weekend, they were also tied on second places. So, yeah, I feel like, I mean, I don't know where I'm going with that, but it is weird, like, it randomly hit me that I myself, and then maybe others, have read too much into that Seattle-St. Louis swing.
Well, potentially, and specifically with RJ, he talked about after winning Nashville that he thought the 6-week break from Glendale to Seattle, he lost intensity. He said he crashed a couple times.
He had a hand injury.
And he had a hand injury.
He said he never got a scan because he didn't want to know, but he said if he had a scan, he is certain there was a fracture.
Right.
Which is so RJ, just not wanting to know.
So let's talk about Nashville real quick. Yes or no? Kitchen doesn't crash in Nashville. Does RJ win?
Yeah, but because Kitchen was buried. So Kitchen didn't crash out of second place.
All right. I mean, let's say they start where they, like RJ where he was, but Kitchen was close to him.
RJ wins because he was really good in Nashville.
Right. And Denver caught Kitchen a little bit, right? Came from behind the pack to get to him.
If they had started in the opposite way around, they would have finished that way.
Yeah. So now if we're thinking recency bias, does it not appear that that gap that we thought Kitchen had has shrunk significantly, if not gone the other way?
Agreed.
Right? So that's why I'm saying, as much as we think, oh, Kitchen's the guy getting the starts, RJ's not, I almost think that RJ not getting the start doesn't necessarily mean as much as we think it does, because he might be faster right now.
Well, and again, realistically, Kitchen was a starting god in Seattle and St. Louis, but that's it. Nashville, his starts weren't good.
Yep.
Seattle, okay, it was a good start, but he didn't whole shot like he was doing in Seattle and St. Louis. So yeah, I'm on your train of maybe we have massively misconstrued the dynamic in 250 West.
Yeah, because like even if you think about Nashville, which was the last showdown that we had, RJ himself even said he put so much pressure on himself to get a good start there, and did, and Kitchen did not. And so, let's flip the tables. If in Salt Lake City this weekend, RJ does it again and gets off the gate second, first, whatever it is, and Kitchen is a little bit buried, is Kitchen the type of guy that will go RJ level of send to get to the front?
Yeah, I guess the best way to put it is if both of them were to start behind, you would have more faith in RJ coming through than you would Kitchen.
I think so.
But then I'm on record as saying I believe Kitchen is the best 250 Supercross rider in America right now.
You have said that.
And I think I still agree with myself.
Okay.
All being well. In a perfect world.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But maybe not?
Yeah. Well, Kitchen says that when he's riding that the rib situation doesn't affect him at all. So are we back to 100% there, right?
Well, did you interview him after the race?
Yeah.
So on press day, we both interviewed him, and I presume he said the same to you.
All good.
Yep.
Normal week.
And then after the race, I said to him, I know you said you were fine, but did you feel the rib? And he went, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, so we're not fine?
Yeah, because I asked him about managing. Like, did you think about your own like fitness level and stuff like that, because you'd been off the bike for a little bit after Nashville, and he was like, no, I was definitely like kind of riding behind me a little bit because of that. So yeah, I mean, 100% or not, I think that we're at the point now where you can, I think, say they're even almost, and one of them has a little bit more send to him, which either bites him really hard or wins him a title, right?
I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too.
I just really don't want it to be anticlimactic because, like, you know, stuff like this gets built up, a lot of excitement, a lot of hype. So when the air comes out of the balloon before the first turn even, it sucks.
What's going to happen if we have, like, Vial and Deegan start with them and they're, like, all up front, but then you also have, like, Jordan and Joe and Thrasher maybe even with whatever the heck was going on with RJ. Like, what if they're all just in a cluster? Like, is it just going to be chaos?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great,
because
right?
we don't actually know. Is Deegan seriously coming here to win the title?
Is he going to tee up Vial?
I mean, you could ask him this. I don't know what answer you would get, but I would love to say, like, are you here to seriously win the title, or have you let it go a little bit?
Question: do you remember Vial getting pushed over a berm at SMX in LA when he was like third or fourth in the last main event? Was that not Deegan?
I'm not remembering what you're saying, but it does ring a little bit of a bell. But I can't picture it. Okay. I can't.
Yeah.
All I remember about Vial in SMX is that he may have been the best rider, but he crashed way more than normal.
Yeah, he did crash. Well, because he was sending it to be that level.
In fact, scratch that. He not may have been the best rider. He was the best rider, I think.
Well, we should have had it written down at that point then maybe he's going to win a Supercross title, and now he might. We
all really screwed up not backing Vial more to win this title.
He's your guy, man. GP guy.
We all just believed in the Deegs too much.
So, to just wrap this up, Kitchen or RJ?
Well, actually, if you had asked me this at the start of the topic, I probably would have said Kitchen, but now I'm going to say RJ.
Oh, so I convinced you that
Yeah.
RJ is the way.
Yeah, you've really opened my mind. Yeah.
Well, I'll go Kitchen then.
Okay. So you just what's the word? Double bluff me.
Yeah. I honestly, like, it's such a coin flip to me. Like, they both have the reasons why they could win it. I think for RJ, it's obviously a much bigger deal because of his longevity to this point. But it'll be fun.
Yeah. Also, though, I mean, both guys will start as favourites next year. So although it will suck for whoever loses, they will most likely have the potential to get it done next year.
And I do want to move on. But for RJ, this is like the crescendo, I think, a little bit of his career. Whereas Kitchen, you're probably looking at him as like, oh, he's going to challenge for 450 titles someday. Yes?
I guess I would agree with you purely from a time standpoint, but I would also agree with you that I believe that the emotion of a loss would be a much harder pill for RJ to swallow versus Levi.
Right. Well, Levi could lose the title and win, or lose this title and easily win the outdoor title, a la Adam C. and Cerullo.
So could RJ.
Yeah, but you just said that it would be a tougher pill for RJ to swallow.
True, but then also we would have said that about AC
and he still won the outdoor title. You're right. Okay, so either way, it'll be fun. I'm excited to see what happens. All right, topic number 2 of the day. Jett Lawrence is most likely going to win this title. I mean, the odds are heavily stacked in his favor, 20 points up with 1 round to go. And the question that you came to me today with, that we even kind of talked about before the show, that we don't have a good answer for, is outside of Jett, who's obviously had the best season of everybody, who's the next guy that's really had the best season in their own mind? We're not talking about points and wins and all of that. Like, who has, from the beginning of the season until this point right now, been like, oh, that's a good season for them?
Yeah, this entered my mind today, and I have no idea why. And it's interesting because my line of thinking with this is, if you ask Cooper, are you happy with this year? I believe he would say yes, but also with some trepidation of like, I was really fast at the start, but I went 11-6, I believe, through the first 2 rounds, so that could have been better. Like, some left on the table, especially now with this injury.
Yep.
I believe Eli would tell you the same. I believe Chase would tell you the same. So realistically, outside of Jett, is anyone happy with their season?
Well,
I almost feel like you have to go as far down to AP.
Yeah, but I think pre-Nashville injury, I would think Kenny would say, yeah, this went better, at least better than last year.
I don't know, though.
Right?
Would you? I don't know, because I would agree with you, but then 1 win last year, 1 win this year.
Yeah, but one win last year that came later in the season, and he did win it on merit, but like by that point in time, I think it was like title's over for him, so this was all that was really there to play for. But winning Glendale as early as he did in the season, I think probably gave him a little bit more of a, I could maybe win this title, right? Like he was still like in it in his own mind.
I was in on the Roxon title chances.
Yeah.
I was all in.
Especially after SMX.
Yeah, and just like, I was all in. But to that point, therefore, in reflection, I am a little underwhelmed that he only won 1 race.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he was certainly good enough to do that more often. And I believe, if I remember correctly, at the start of the year, we were in a situation, weren't we, where Kenny was really fast, but bad start, caught up in an incident, like it just seemed like it could not work for him.
Yeah. You know what really kind of bums me out with Kenny is, this has nothing to do with this topic, but he was the second best guy at SMX. You could say Chase was 2B to Kenny's 2A behind Jett, if that's how you want to phrase it. But Kenny was really damn good at SMX. And he showed up for a random one-off national last year and was really damn good. I missed that we're not going to see Kenny Roxon outdoors.
Yeah, and to your point, I was saying that entering Supercross this year, that I had like a newfound appreciation for Roxon and all that he brings to the sport. Like, I don't know what opened my eyes. Maybe it was because I followed him to Abu Dhabi, to Paris, SMX. So like I I don't know. I was just on Kenny's World Tour bus. But yeah, like I really have a newfound like Kenny's the man.
Yeah, well, I think like this is so off topic of what we're talking about, but I think if Kenny has like, if he comes into nationals 100% ready to go last year, I don't think Jett wins all the motos, right? He's that good. Kenny would have figured out one way or another to get it done.
But also, I would say the same about Chase had he not gone out around 2.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the topic, which is who's going to be the most happy with their season. Is it maybe the debate of J. Coop and Hunter?
I guess the crux here is ultimately what we are falling back on is Cooper, Eli, and Chase would have 100% come in with title or bust mindset.
Yeah.
So we're almost eliminating them as they can't be happy.
And I definitely think that Eli and Chase, if you said, hey man, you're going to win one race this year, would have punched you in the face before the season. And Chase could still, they both could still win Salt Lake City, but they only have one win right now. So they would have been
Chase said
pissed
something
if that was the case.
Funny about that to me after the race. It was quite hilarious, but I can't remember it exactly. So,
good banter on the podcast. Great topic.
Yeah, that was just like an old man rambling in the corner of the room.
So anyway, clouds up there.
I once met a man who told me something about that topic, and it was great.
But so Hunter, even in the press conference, said, "Yeah, if you take Jett away, like my season looks pretty good for a rookie."
Yeah.
And like he's totally fair in that. Like between him and J. Coop, they really are having a like actual rookie of the year battle in a way. And then whoever finishes ahead of whom should be happy with that, right? Because it's like J. Coop's up, I don't remember, 6-7 points up on Hunter with a round to go.
Yep.
And like they've both been very solid. And I think should be happy with their seasons, even though it's not Jett level rookie season.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that 6 rounds ago, I viewed Hunter and J. Coop very, very similar, neck and neck. And I do feel like since then, Hunter has accelerated and J. Coop has maybe plateaued or even descended a little. Because I feel like at some point this year, it did look like J. Coop was going to make a bit of a sort of charge similar to Hunter has
in
now.
Third forever at Birmingham.
Yeah. And it's just kind of petered out a little. Passenger?
I think it has to be AP probably.
If you're going versus expectations, who can be like I over delivered?
Yeah.
Jett, Passenger, have Hunter or J. Coop really over delivered? I would argue that I think so highly of both of them that I actually think they are both capable or were capable of so much more than they've shown. I think, but not in a hater way. In a, I really believe in their talent, and
I think specifically talking about Hunter, if you could wipe everyone's memory of Paris, because everyone was like, look at how good Hunter can be on a 450, that Hunter probably has over delivered a little bit, because especially of late, as you mentioned, regardless of this almost win that he had in Denver, heat races have been good. Like he won a heat at Nashville, I think it was. Yeah, I beat AC.
Yep. Seattle as well.
Yep. And like the qualifying hasn't been J. Coop level, but he's been mixing it up with those guys. He qualified P1 at Philly, right? So like that's a very solid rookie year. If you look back and you go, oh shit, Hunter Lawrence like almost won a race, has won several heat races, qualified fastest. Like even if you think about Villopoto in 2009 up against Chad Reed and James Stewart winning 2 races right at the end, people were like, oh my God, look at this Villopoto guy. And Hunter's like not there, but
in the realm.
So
it's just weird, isn't it? Like now that I think about it, there are so many riders who I believe would be somewhat irked at their Supercross season. Malcolm, Barsha.
Well, definitely them. Yeah, they're not happy.
Anderson, somewhat. Although I could debate that.
That's been coming around.
Yeah, but I still think I even asked him this after the race for whether the way that it's come around at the end, similar to the start, makes him even more frustrated at the mid-season slump. And similar to the Chase comment, I have no memory of what he said. But that is actually on record, so you can find that. Yeah, no, just funny, isn't it? But I guess that is actually every year if you look at it.
Yeah.
I can't even remember last year.
Well, I mean, I would put Anderson probably in a similar realm of title or bust. So I think that's why for us,
I
it's
would
like,
agree. Especially after the way it started, because it looks like he would definitely win a race
yeah,
and more than likely be in contention for a good position, if not the title.
yeah.
I don't think it's the same every year, though, because now that I think about it, of course, Eli and Coop were pissed last year, but I do believe that both of them could have been happy with their performances. Kenny would have been happy last year. He punched above his weight first year with Hep. Barsha really was brilliant in the second half last year and had to have been happy. So actually, last year, I would argue that more people were happy.
Yeah, well, I think that the reason so many people would be unhappy this year is because they're like, damn it, I really didn't want to lose to a rookie.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the way of... The reason that so many people were unhappy this year is because so many people were happy last year that their expectations were heightened.
Well, probably that too. But, I mean...
That's quite a good...
Nobody wanted to lose to Jett. It was obvious. Like, the way that he was being raced early in the year, let's not even talk about Anderson. Just in general, I don't think Jett was... Like, guys were racing him hard. Because they were like, I want to beat that guy.
I don't really feel that way.
Oh, really?
That he was raced hard?
I feel like that early in the season, and honestly, even sometimes late in the season, those guys are like, I'm going to stick with him at all costs. I'm going to, block past him if I can. It seemed like that, at least.
My only memory similar to that is that A1 heat race where Webb kind of zapped him, like, immediately in turn 2 or whatever. But that's my one memory that, like, springs to mind.
Well, we made it to round 9, and Webb definitely did not want to have Jett pass him in a heat race, and ultimately it maybe cost him an outdoor season.
Yeah, you're talking about that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the context of that situation.
Jett passed him, and Webb tripled into his back because he wanted to get him back.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember if Jett passed him or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's, yeah.
So
a lot of people
basically
are
no
unhappy.
answer.
I think Hunter and J. Coop are the answers.
I think AP.
Yeah, I could see that too. I think he's just like, damn
They
it,
are the
I can't
only
finish
candidates.
it off. Because AP was so pissed off with his midseason. Like, what the heck? I was title, and then just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
So-
that's a good point, but I guess if you maintain that you judge it versus preseason,
Yeah. No, he'd be happy to win in red plate. And
like if you
all
look
that
at it
stuff.
as a whole.
All right, let's move on, though, because we've been...
Was that a good topic or was that just a complete waste
No,
of
that
time?
was a good topic. I thought it was interesting.
Okay, I can't decide if
good,
that was
Lewis.
a waste
Chill
of
out.
time or not.
But we've been going long on topics, so let's go into the next one, which is the first non-moto topic of the day. It's also our Racetech fan topic. Racetech Gold valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. And this fan topic comes from @AidenIrvin on Twitter. And it's a non-moto topic. So, Lewis, we get to dig our heels in on this one right here. Ready? What is a better place to spend an entire day on vacation, an aquarium or a zoo? And Aiden says his vote is wherever the damn penguins are because they seem to play both sides depending on the city. I don't know what that means.
No, neither.
But aquarium or zoo, Lewis?
I guess
Where do you want to go?
I guess he means play both sides as in some cities they're in the aquarium and in
then
some cities they're in the zoo.
Yeah, so like if the zoo has cold climate areas, you're going to see penguins.
First of all, I can really... This tweet really tells me a lot about Aiden as a person.
He's a penguin guy.
I just feel like there are very few people on Earth that have this specific idea come into their head.
It's a great day,
And I
though,
respect
either way.
it. Are they not the same thing?
Aquarium or zoo?
Pretty much. Go there, watch some animals, leave.
Okay. Yeah, in that context, I guess.
If you're-
Go there, watch animals leave.
yeah. Never really understood the concept, to
Have
be
you
honest.
have you ever been to the San Diego Zoo?
No.
What's a zoo you've been to?
I'm not sure if I've ever been to a zoo.
Lewis.
I think I might have went to Marwell Zoo, which you have no idea what that is.
Yeah, is
Someone might. It's near Matcham's. Do you know what Matcham's is?
the Moto Park? Matcham's Moto Park? Is
Yeah, I
that
think
it?
that's what the old GP track.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was near there. I think I went there, or maybe I just drove past the sign enough where it logged into my subconscious. Yeah, I must have gone when I was really young. Don't understand it.
No,
Like,
because you're not an animal guy, or because it's just like,
here are the lion. Oh, they're asleep. Oh, here's some monkeys. Oh, they're just sitting around.
so you want interaction with the animals?
No,
is
just
what
like I
you're
don't get it.
Okay.
Which
How
is
about
like,
how about an aquarium? You been to those?
I must have sea life.
Okay, what I'm really learning from this topic, Lewis, is that you and I need to go to an aquarium and a zoo because you haven't really experienced
I
them.
must have got no. I definitely went to an aquarium, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
But again, like that was a fish.
Have you been to the aquariums where you get to like walk in the tunnels where the fish go over you and all that stuff?
You're asking too many specific questions. I barely had
Okay.
a grasp on whether
Okay,
I'd
so
been
then
to an aquarium.
to this topic, an entire day on vacation, which one are you picking? You have to pick one.
An entire day at either of those sounds like a slog.
Okay.
Sounds like a long day.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you have enough times to see if the lions had gotten off their arse and done something interesting. I guess you'd go zoo because it's outside.
That's the only reason, because it's outside.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be locked in an aquarium all day, would you?
Yeah, but there are some aquariums that have outside elements, depending on the type of
I'm not
animals.
doing either. And you know what?
Okay.
Let's get rid of them.
Wow.
Not
sad.
needed.
You're not. But what about the conservation of the animals?
They'll be all right.
Just release them back in the wild
They'll
and
be
have
all
fun.
right.
Yeah, I'd pick zoo too, but I've had apparently much more experience than you. The San Diego Zoo is like world renowned. It's like one of the most famous ones in the world. And we had zoo passes for a long time. In fact, my wife and I, when we were in college, because the zoo was relatively close, it was a place that we would frequent. We'd go, we'd check out the animals, we'd eat there. They had a nice restaurant there. We'd get bevved up, and then we'd Uber back.
And then,
It's
like,
great.
2 weeks later, you'd be like, let's go to the zoo again.
Yeah, because it's just a nice way to get out. And we have passes, so it's already paid for.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is you appreciate the finer things in life.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
guess.
little subtle joys that come with being alive.
But I mean, it was like,
Maybe I don't. Maybe this is a deeper topic now. Maybe we're back to therapy with Lewis.
honestly, it was a fun time because
I just don't get it.
seeing the animals aside and all that stuff like that, the zoo is actually quite a unique place. And there's actually a safari park that's pretty close to us as well that you should go to because there's a lot of really cool things to
Where
do
is there a safari park?
Escondido.
Right. And that's an outdoor...
Massive outdoor
And
conservation.
there's just like
there's a
elephants
there's
wandering
a
about.
literally like a I don't even know how many acres area that has it had the one of the only 2 living white rhinos in the world for a long time. Has giraffes, elephants,
Right,
lions,
okay.
all that stuff.
Kellen, you can go and see the white rhino who's really rare. Are you like, let's fucking go?
It's just a way to get out and
No,
do
but
stuff.
is that
Lewis.
your reaction? Are you
Yeah.
like...
Yep. I'm waving
Sign
the
me
flags.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
up
I'm just
there.
like...
Yeah.
Like when
Sad.
I was driving earlier, there was a squirrel on the side of the road. Same vibe as a zoo, really. Like, oh look, there it is. Didn't really care for it. Almost ran it over. Didn't.
We need to take you to the San Diego Zoo. I think you'd have a good time.
Oh yeah, sounds like it tells me a lot about you that you are listening to this conversation and going, you're the type of man I'd like to spend a day with at a zoo with.
Well, honestly, I consider you my friend, and I would like to take my friend to the zoo. Should I not?
Yeah, I don't care if we're friends or not. I judge you for listening to what I'm saying and go, I want to spend a day with you at a zoo. Because I don't get it.
It'd
I
be
just
great,
feel
dude. We
walk in. I feel like I'd walk in and give it 10 minutes and I'd be like, yeah, bored.
Okay, so are there animals on this
No.
earth that you care to see?
No.
None at all. There's not one that you'd be like, oh, I've never really seen a polar bear before.
No, but like, oh, that's a giraffe. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Like, that's it. It's even if I want to see them, it's a immediate, oh yeah, done.
Cool.
Like there's not like, oh, I've wanted to see a giraffe. This will kill an hour.
Yeah, but
I could get through it. Even if I was a zoo enthusiast, I could fuck my way through that shit in about 10 minutes and be happy.
what are you talking about?
I didn't mean to say.
That's a wrong way.
I could
saying that.
if I was a zoo enthusiast who was like, there's a lion at the San Diego Zoo, I'm in. I could rattle through that. Oh, there's the lion.
10 minutes
Oh, there's the gorilla.
on your bike.
Oh, I want to see the penguin. There it is. Done. Out.
Okay.
That's you. I live my life a quarter of a mile at a time.
Okay. Are you a type of person that likes to see landmarks?
No.
No. Okay. So this is
Wait,
more of
what are landmarks?
Mount Rushmore.
I guess that's quite famous. So like, am I going to go out of my way to see it? No. If I drive past it, am I going to look at it? Yes.
That's what I'm saying about like the San Diego Zoo, very famous. And then also like if you've never seen an elephant in your life, you're like, holy shit, that thing's huge. And then you stand next to it and you're like, good Lord, I didn't realize that animals were that big.
I'll go, oh my God, that thing's huge. Walk away. Done.
Walk away.
Yeah, done. Like, oh my God, that thing's huge. Anyway.
This topic turned out exactly how I hoped it would, which is you just annoyed that the fact that either of these things exist.
It's just pointless. I don't get it. I don't understand. Help me understand, people.
Well, I would love to take you to both and help you understand.
Well, I think if we go to a zoo, we need to vlog it now.
Yeah, we do. This would be all
Or set a timer.
Oh, it's a giraffe, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. What else you're getting from it?
It's just a nice way to get out and about and
Like,
do stuff.
do you want to feed the giraffe? Not really.
Do you ever like? Have you ever in your life just gone to a mall, not because you like,
Yeah.
I need to shop or whatever, but you're just like, I just want
Yeah,
to
I
go
like
do
the vibe
something.
of them all.
That's the same thing you do at a zoo. You just spend just a little bit of money. You
But
go in.
I don't feel obliged to stay at the mall for a certain amount of time. I feel like when I go to the mall, my destiny is in my hands.
Okay, but the zoo literally has so many animals that you could see that you just, even if you take only 5 minutes of your time to see each animal, it would still be a long time at the zoo.
I'm not spending 5 minutes on each animal. Honestly, I cannot think of anything worse than stood there for Also, I have the patience of a gnat. Like, I have the patience of a gnat, but I am not standing there for 5 minutes watching an elephant stand there. I'm just not. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out.
Then we'll go to the zoo. We'll vlog it. We'll just watch you slowly die inside.
Well, if there's a world record for the quickest visit to the San Diego Zoo, I'd go to try and break that.
Oh, it's 100% people that enter and then forget they have like the baby's bottle in the car.
Okay, well
That's the world record.
okay. Well,
Anyway,
so,
good topic because it got you riled up, which
No,
I
I'm
was
just a bit confused, really.
okay.
Not riled up, just confused,
Well,
bewildered.
We will go to the zoo and vlog it. So
I don't get it. I still don't get it.
LVK content.
I've not had closure here. I don't get it.
It's just
I need an activity. I need to be engaged.
you can't see these animals anywhere else unless you like are getting mauled by
I've
them.
got a TV.
Just watch Planet Earth on
I've
repeat.
got YouTube.
All right, Lewis.
Like that would do me. Put a video of the San Diego Zoo on that TV, and that would quench
What
my
is
need
with
to
these
go there.
innuendos? You could fuck your way through the zoo.
Wait, what did
That
I
would
just-
do you to watch these
Yeah,
videos.
that would do me.
That must be a British thing.
That would do me. That would sort me out.
Okay. Yeah,
That would do.
fair.
Also, on that topic, if I said to you, "That's a bit of you, isn't it?"
It's like something that excites me.
Okay, yeah. I did that the other day to a rider, and they did not understand, so I just wanted to check.
Well, if you say that's you, you're saying like that's something that you
That's
would
a bit
enjoy.
of me.
Yeah, and that's something that you
Yeah,
would enjoy.
That's,
Right.
yeah, bit
Yeah.
of you, bit of me.
Okay. Let's get into
Sadly.
our next topic here, second half of the show. So big shout out to EVS Sports. Experience the pinnacle of knee protection and injury prevention with the EVS Web Eclipse knee brace. For over 39 years, EVS has relentlessly honed their engineering expertise, consistently delivering award-winning knee braces. This legacy of excellence is embedded in every facet of the new Web Eclipse, which represents a culmination of their tireless dedication to innovation and rider safety. Use code LVK30 to save 30% off today. All right, next topic, next moto topic as well. Lewis, MXGP over the weekend in Águeda, as most people pronounce it. I always called it Agueda. I'm sure you did at some point as well. In Portugal, complete mud fest. It was not a complete mud fest until the first MXGP moto when it poured, and then it was a complete mud fest. But yeah, so your guy, Paul Jonas, gets the win, goes 2-2. Tim Geiser takes the red plate over because Jorge Prado had the worst non-injury related weekend of his MXGP career, maybe. Like, could it go any worse than pitting 4 times in the first moto for goggles?
Well, I got a lot of shit for this in San Francisco because if you remember right, I'm sure you were one of the people giving me shit. Was I not in the press
you
box
said
going,
that Jorge Prado's not a mud
he's
rider.
not a mud
and then he
rider.
wins the heat race,
And then
and we're
everyone's
just
going,
yeah, I get this. Not a good weekend for him.
Chink for me.
So
you were meant to apologize, but
I apologize, Lewis. Geyser goes 1-9, crashes in the second moto, and has to come all the way back. And then Hurlings wins the first moto. Second moto, sorry. But DNF's the first moto with a engine failure, I guess. So it was all over the place. The crux of it is that Geyser now leads the points. Prado's still close, obviously. You got Fevre reasonably still there as well. And now Hurlings maybe back on his game. So who has the upper hand in MXGP now, Lewis?
Well, I was billing round 5, which is the one just gone, as the new round 1, because before this we had 2 weekends off. So I felt like this was going to be a reset. And it, like, whatever happened at the first 4 rounds, which was Prado domination, would almost be washed. And I feel like that's what happened. Maybe helped by the weather. But right now, if you want me to do title percentages, I'm almost willing to go 25, 25, 25, 25. That's how open I feel it is. Even though there's 54 points covering the top 4, I feel like it's anyone's game. Because realistically, someone's going to get injured. Someone else is having a bike problem. Maybe everyone. Although, Hurling's bike has blown up and Prado had a seat fall off. It's weird that we've already had 2 of them have bike problems. There's probably going to be another mud race. So I feel like, despite the points, that's irrelevant. They're all good. They're all fast. I messaged one of them earlier saying, I feel like it's in your hands. I feel like you can do what you want with it.
I wonder who you messaged. we wonder these things, Lewis. Okay, so but just that all aside, seeing how it's gone through 5 rounds, of this championship, do you have any one guy that you're like, okay, really though, this is now his time? No, because it's still up in the air as much as... Because
realistically, I think Hurlings is good enough to overcome the 54-point deficit.
Yep.
Bearing in mind, as I said, he will have help.
Romain's what, 30-something back?
38, I want to say, from memory. Because I believe that Prado is... No, is it 32? I feel like Prado is X amount of points down, and Fevre is 20 down from him. I mean, it'd be very easy to look at this, but...
Prado's like 12 or 16 or something back.
I think Prado's 14 now? 12? 12 or 14,
12 or 14, yeah.
I feel like Prado's good enough to overcome that. I guess the only guy I have some trepidation about is Fevre. And that's purely because my gut feeling is that, all things equal, he's the 4th of the group.
Yeah,
But to our previous discussion, maybe that's not fair.
Well, so one question I have about Fevre is that obviously he was injured at one point last year, so this doesn't necessarily make complete sense. But the second half of last year, Fevre was really good. The second half of the season was Fevre's time.
Yep.
Is that a trend you can foresee, that if Fevre stays healthy through the first half of the year, he will click into another gear?
No, but also I say that because I feel like he's already at such a good level that gear is here.
Okay.
Which is also kind of really debunking what I just said. But that's where I'm at. Like, I feel like Tim is firing on all cylinders. Prado is. Hurlings is now. And I feel like Fevre's pretty much at his best as well. Like, I feel like it's all to play for.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't look now, but Jonas is only 8 points behind Hurlings, or 6, right there.
Yeah. With Tim specifically, I know we talked about this before the race, or before the podcast, I mean. There's like a report going around that he's a little bit banged up from his crash, and that he may not be 100%, though he does have the red plate. Does that factor into the next couple rounds at all, you think?
This was going around the paddock. It was obviously spurred on by the fact that he didn't go on the podium.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't go on the podium, but I'm pretty sure I saw a story from his girlfriend saying, all good, or everything's fine, or something to that degree. And like Garibaldi posted a photo of him and Tim with a red plate smiling. So like, I feel like he is fine. I don't have any questions there. Speaking of which, did you watch the MXGP podium?
I didn't know.
Oh.
Why? What happened?
Well, Garibaldi went up to collect in Tim's place, but just like refused to stand on the step. And it was really awkward.
Well, but I could see why he wouldn't stand on the step. He's not the rider.
But someone's got to go up there. He went up in place of Tim. And he just kind of stood next to the third place spot.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He's not the rider.
But then, what are you doing? Don't go up there. You're in place of Tim.
But he went up there to collect Tim's red plate, I thought. So then
He went up as third place.
Oh.
Red plate,
Yeah.
sure. Then you are obviously stood to the side.
I don't know.
Felt it was awkward. Yeah, who's your favourite for this?
I mean, based on the first 5 rounds, I would go Tim. Because
of his consistency.
Yeah, because he's been consistently fast. So has Prado, but Tim has been knocking on the door of Prado the entire year, and now at a race that Prado has definitely straight up sucked at, that's what I'm going to say, Tim was still very solid.
Yes, but my reply to that would be, are we not massively overreacting to a mud race? Because Prado was amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's a handful of GPs already this year that you could say Tim was maybe the fastest guy. Prado gets the whole shot 99% of the time and is gone by the time Tim could get in a second.
Maybe you could say that about Argentina. I felt like Tim had the potential to be the best guy in Trentino.
Right.
But I feel like he didn't deliver on that potential. So I'm not counting that.
I'm talking about raw speed. I'm not talking about results. Raw speed, Tim has been fairly mano-a-mano with Jorge. And
But I would actually say that all of them have been then. I don't think
Really?
that you can say, well...
I mean, Hurling's no.
No, but in Trentino, Hurling's was really fast and the pace was there. Bad situation. Fevra's been there or thereabouts at different points this year.
I just say Tim's been consistently that level, which Jorge has been as well. I'm just saying, like, Tim is the type of guy in this championship that obviously he's won it 4 times now, right? He's 4-time MXGP world champion.
16, 19, 20, 22, yeah.
So he knows how to win these championships, and he knows that the attrition will probably be a factor with it. But I also just think that he has shown the tendency to rise to a certain level of every guy on the track. So even when Jeffrey's going balls fast, Tim will try to ride at that balls fast. And if Jorge's the fastest guy on the track, Tim will try to be as fast as Jorge. And I don't think I can say the same thing, maybe Jeffrey, but I don't think I can say the same thing about others. If Roman's on and Jorge's not, that's just how it is that day.
So basically, we are just removing Roman from this.
I don't want to remove him, but I would, like you, put him 4th.
For some reason, I am really sold on this, like, 25% split. Like, I do feel like they all have... You could tell me, if you put me in my little time machine and sent me to September, and any one of them was world champion, I would not be like, what? So
let me ask you this then, and we're over time already, but 25% split, Jeffrey Hurlings is over 50 points back. Are you then saying you have 25% faith that he can win this world title because he is the best guy, which means he can pull this back?
Well, a lot of people are going to deduce that, aren't they? And I can feel my ears burning already, even though this hasn't gone public.
At
but you
Lewis
know what?
Phillips.
At who?
On Twitter, people just at Lewis Phillips.
Okay, I thought you were
yelling at you.
I want to speak my truth, but I'm scared to, Kellen.
I think you're safe to say he was the best rider this weekend.
And I would honestly go as far as to say he may have been in Trentino as well.
Yeah, well, I know you've been on that hill, but
or maybe at least equal to the best. I think they were. I think I even said in Trentino they were all equal, like the best. There was no like. So I would say yes. Well, like I said, there's going to be situations, another mud race, injuries. I feel like that will help anyway.
Yeah.
But also, I'm almost saying as well that Federer could overcome a 38-point gap or 34 or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way you're saying 25% each is theoretically saying you're saying 4 to 1.
You screwed me.
You're saying 4 to 1 is 1 to 4 in terms of power rankings.
I've just realised you've screwed me. There's me, literally playing the middle of the fence. Everyone's great, and this has now come back to bite me in the arse because here I am somehow hating on Tim without even realising it.
The reality is your 25% split is that there's still 15 GPs to go, and anybody could win this title from this point.
I guess what my overall point is, the points are irrelevant at this stage.
Yeah, because gaps aside, there's still a ton of racing left to go.
You really fucked me.
I didn't try to do that. I'm just trying to deduce your reasoning at this point. And so, yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Jeffrey 1, Roman 2. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's
I
get
just
in.
tried to, you know, I just tried to.
We're at 50 minutes, Lewis, so we're cruising here. But let's get into our last moto topic because we still have 2 more to get through. And basically, it's just this: has 2024 Supercross been a success, Lewis? I'll ask you that question first.
Well, it's funny because I feel like what you feel in the moment versus what you feel in hindsight is 2 very different things. And ultimately, I think that comes down to the outcome. If the rider who you always thought was going to win the championship ends up winning the championship, you're kind of like, oh, anonymous season. The outcome was as expected. It was predictable. But actually, if you dive deeper, you're like, that was a really good season. So I think that in years to come, we're going to go, oh yeah, Jett won as a rookie. Of course he did. Jett's great. Not much to really read into that. Who cares? But actually, as we did before we started recording, we started picking apart what happened earlier in the season, jogging our memories, and we both got quite like, oh my god, that was really good.
Yeah.
But you forget. Because now you're like, yep, Jett was the best guy. He was the best guy at round 1. He's the best guy now. Jett season, whatever.
Yes. I think the problem is that that's kind of the normal trend anyway of late, is that the early season stuff gets us all like, oh yeah, this could happen and this, that, and the other thing. And then it just disappears by the second half of the season. No?
Do you know what I believe will age like fine wine?
What will?
That is our perception of last year. Because actually now, when you think about it, last year was unbelievable.
Yeah.
All the way to the end.
4 rounds to go is 15 points apart between 3 guys.
Yep. And it was ever changing. I feel like there was maybe a stint where Eli was the best guy for 2 weeks in a row, but it would change at least every 2 weeks or whatever. Like there wasn't a month where it was just like, yep, we're going in this direction.
You know what makes a good season? On the topic of that, what makes a good season is when the fastest guy on the track, and this year it's Jett, it's when the fastest guy on the track makes a lot of mistakes. Like
you're going to get me in trouble again.
No,
you're lining me up.
I'm not lining you up.
I see where this is going.
If you look back to 2009, 2009, James and Chad, James was the best guy. It wasn't close, but James crashed a lot. And that's why we had 4 points between them going into the last round. And then you think back to last year, as you say.
You say it, not me.
Chase was the best guy. He's the fastest rider. He crashed a lot.
You said it, not me.
Right? And so we had a great season because of it.
People get emotional when you say that, Kellen.
I'm just saying, is that not factual?
I agree that it's very factual that last year Chase was the best guy, but that got me in a lot of trouble.
Well, he was the fastest. It's no doubt about it. He was the fastest qualifier. He was the best rider. 14 times last year.
He was the best rider.
Fastest rider. Best is different because if you're talking about overall.
Okay. And now I'm getting myself into trouble, so move on.
Fastest.
But yeah, to your point, 2011, if Filippoto had qualified in Jacksonville,
yep.
That isn't as exciting as it was meant to be.
Exactly.
Can't really think of another example off the top of my head now, but
Tomac and Dunge. Tomac was the fastest guy in 2017, and that title should have been his if he didn't crash while trying to battle for the lead in East Rutherford. I don't care how many people say, well, Marv gave it to Dungy. Tomac blew it himself.
2006, if Carmichael's shock did not explode in St. Louis and Stewart didn't crash into the back of whoever it was, Reed never would have been in that title fight. We never would have had a three-way winner takes all at the end.
Yep.
Well, actually, no. It was actually... Were Ricky and Chad tied going into the last round? I feel like they were.
What, in 03?
6.
Oh, 6?
I believe...
There was 6 points between them, wasn't there?
I want to say 5.
Oh, okay.
No, they can't have been tied. No, I think they were tied.
The thing that's confused me about it is there was the World Supercross points and the AMA Supercross points, and I don't remember which one was which and how many points were
Stewart won
each.
World Supercross quite comfortably.
I don't think it was comfortable.
No, but I don't think it was up for grabs at the final round, really.
No, I think it was. I think it was like if Ricky could win and Chad would get second, that Ricky would win both titles or something like that.
But it can't have been because James won Toronto and Vancouver. So then add that in with the regular results and that gives James a 10-point buffer.
Yeah, but was Ricky second both of those races?
Yeah.
So then that means there's only a 6-point difference between them in that.
But then Ricky was ahead of James going into the last round. I think by 5 points, which means he would have had an 11-point No, which means that that would have been they were 1 point apart.
Yeah, right. That's
But
what I'm saying.
But
I
then
think
James won. Yeah, because James.
we were just we're just deep diving 2006 now.
I'm so
We should
confused.
pull this up.
Could you
again.
pull up the results? Because I'm confused. I
Anyway,
actually don't think if you go on the AMA website, the results website, I don't think that World Supercross standings are there.
I don't think they are either.
No, I'll just randomly.
Heath Voss just doesn't exist.
This mic suddenly become loose. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
What was the topic?
was this year a good year?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. No, I think it was B minus. I'll give it that as a rating. Like, it was really good early. It gave us a lot of excitement, a lot of storylines, a lot of controversy as well at times, and it had the potential to be amazing if those guys like Sexton and Tomac didn't fall off the way they did in terms of points. Roxon doesn't get hurt, then they're close enough for when Jett starts fumbling mid-season to be with Coop still, and suddenly we have 5 riders like 2011 close enough to still win the title by the finale, but that didn't happen.
Agreed. So I would give it a B. And my comment on the report would be strong start, lost its way towards the end.
Yeah, because if you want to talk about like strong start lost its way towards the end, 2021, 22 maybe, we went into round 3.
22.
We went into round 3 of 22, I think it was. Top 8 were separated by like 6 points or something like that. Like, it had flipped the script so many times through the first 3 rounds that you're like, I don't know what's about to happen. And then, Tomac wins the title.
Yeah, he won 6 in a row mid-season,
Yeah.
and it was like, sweet.
So that I think that just kind of tends to happen. We get all this early season fluff to make us excited, and then there's a point of time where you're just like, oh, here we go.
Almost like we need a chase format.
Yeah. Well, you like a chase of any kind, so
Why are you not? You're trying to get me in trouble here, Kellen.
No.
You're literally lining me
do you
up.
actually want a chase format?
I
don't
know enough about it.
I don't. Because it's kind of what we have with SMX.
I don't want a gimmicky. I don't want gimmick.
SMX is kind of a chase format, which is, okay, all these guys qualified and we're going to bunch them back up in points again and see what happens.
For some reason, I was thinking about that earlier as well. The whole double, triple points in SMX. Really have no memory of that last year. I know it happened, but I don't have a memory of like how it affected the races and like what it was like to watch the races with that in mind. I think because actually it was kind of irrelevant because ultimately what happened was the last race was the most important.
Yeah, well, my memory of it was Hunter obviously got hurt at LA and that cost him the 250 SMX title. But I think I remember it being a situation of like, in a normal race, if Hunter could go get 8th or something, he would win the title. But this one made it so he had to podium the last round, and it was like, yeah, he's not going to be strong enough to do that, so we're sitting out.
Yeah.
So that's one situation where it maybe affected it. But yeah, B minus for me.
I'll go B.
Okay, fair enough. All right, one more topic today, and this is going to be a second Race Tech fan topic since we missed last week's, but why not? Let's go at it again. For 40 years, Race Tech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. For modern and vintage, Race Tech is your go-to source for suspension performance. It's another non-moto topic, Lewis. We're so excited to talk about this coming off of 2 weeks ago where you just had such fun takes about this situation. And it's at Ranty80 wants to know, if you could commit one crime and get away with it, what would it be?
I'd blow up all the zoos and aquariums. No, that would be a waste of a wish. Not that this is like a genie, obviously. What would I do? Well, I'd rob a bank, obviously.
I was going to say, how's that not the answer?
Okay, so we're removing that from the equation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't murder someone. Maybe
that
can be our
contrary to
slogan.
popular belief, of course.
Maybe that can be our slogan.
I wouldn't murder someone. That'd be
Yeah.
the show's title this week.
No, we can get T-shirts printed with "I wouldn't murder someone." They'll fly off a shelf.
And wouldn't would be like tiny. I wouldn't
It's got
murder
mainstream
someone.
appeal. It's a marketing genius.
Yeah.
I don't know. You go first. I need to hear someone else talk to get my mind. Rob the bank is obvious and off the table.
I think for me, it would be something along the lines of like be able to like trespass into the White House or something like that, where you like get to see some cool behind the scenes government stuff.
Not to like go back to the zoo, but would that not just be like going to the zoo?
Why?
You're just walking around like, you're just looking at stuff.
What if you find out like real gnarly secretive stuff?
So you want to go rummaging through like the documents and everything?
Not necessarily. Well, yeah, sure. If you could get away with it, why not?
I could make a really funny, in my opinion, joke here at myself, but I'm not going to because I don't think people will get it.
By the way, I'm not actually going to do that, U.S. government.
That's actually a good point, yeah. What would I do? I wouldn't murder someone. What other crimes are there?
What other crimes are there?
Well, I can't think of any. What? I'm not really a crime guy. Start a drug ring?
So you would start something that would remain continuous, but you could get away with it forever?
That would be the equivalent of robbing a bank. I think I'd fit well on street corners.
That's certainly a phrase. Certainly a phrase.
Imagine if you roll up and your drug dealer's just me, like, hey.
Yeah.
Did you watch the race or not?
Would you kidnap Chase? That's a crime, technically.
Well, that was going to be my joke. That was going to be the joke that I referenced a minute ago that I said no one would get.
Yeah.
Funny. Maybe I would murder someone, but then who would you? Because there's a list.
Why don't you think like lower scale? Like, what if like?
Or I'd rob a convenience store.
No. What if you could go whatever speed you wanted to for a whole day?
Kind of do that anyway.
Oh yeah, well clearly the drive back from Pulp MX.
Give me another.
What if you could like know? What if you could know everyone's pay in this sport?
That's not a crime.
Well, yeah, like you're looking at like.
So you want? I could be a hacker.
I can't think of the word. When it's secret documents, what like confidential? You're looking at confidential information.
Yeah, hacker.
Sure. So you hack into the database and find out, oh, Jett's making $9 million a year. Cool.
No, because unless I can steal it, that's like going to the zoo. You're just like looking
at it.
You're not engaged.
So you don't like looking at stuff. We found out like Lewis goes to the race and he looks at it and he's like, oh, boring, innit?
That's true, yeah, because it's for stories and the thinking and the.
Okay, so the stories derived from knowing how much money everyone's making in this sport would be rather interesting.
No, I
no,
think we have a good enough idea.
What do you mean you wouldn't have a good enough idea?
No, I think we do have a good enough idea. I don't believe there's anything that would shock me.
Do we? What about knowing what Cody Shock makes? That might shock you.
Well, 3-year deals are quite lucrative, from what I hear.
They are.
Maybe I'm just such a law-abiding citizen that I'm just nice.
What if you could make it so you have U.S. citizenship? Blink of an eye.
Is that a crime?
Well, I mean, you don't have it. And
okay, sure. If I could forge the documents. There you go. That's it. Yeah, forge the documents, fake passport and whatnot. Sure.
Yeah.
I'd rather rob a bank.
I mean, that's seriously the only really good answer
And
because
I don't really
it just
see what you'd get out of murdering someone. Now
nothing.
I'm thinking about it in more depth, and after you've done it, what do you really gain?
You would lose me as a friend because I'd be dead. Why would you kill me? That's rude.
I'm not going to murder you.
Oh well, thank you.
Well, you're not in the top 10 at least.
Right on the door. I'm Chiz. I'm P11. Yeah, but I mean, like seriously, it would be rob a bank.
Yeah.
It's just.
I like money.
Yeah, like you would have so much benefit from it if you could just suddenly have millions of dollars in your pocket.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I'd start a team.
Because like, you know how there's always those like, would you take the blue pill or the red pill situations? And it's like blue pill is you have $5 million or red pill is you can live for a long time. Well, this is in that situation, it's not committing a crime because we can live longer. It's committing a crime because we're taking money from something. So obviously you would do that.
Yeah, I enjoy money.
Yeah.
Give me all the money. Other than that, I guess you'd steal a car because then you could sell it. A good car, obviously.
F1 car.
Yeah, no, I can't really think of any crimes. Maybe I need to be less of a good law-abiding citizen. You know what? I'll go away, dabble in some stuff, market research, if you will. Come back next week, tell you what I liked and what I didn't like, and
All
what
right.
I fancy some more of.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we would both likely rob a bank, and
Stay tuned.
I would like to look at confidential documents.
Stay tuned this as I go away now and dabble.
As many people would, I think.
And you're watching the news, and they're like, man, kill someone, and then they're like interviewing me, going, why did you do that? I just want to see what it's like. Not really worth it, to be honest.
Not really all cracked up as I thought.
No,
it would
not
be.
really. Like, no, to be honest, wouldn't do it again. Stay tuned to the podcast, but this is not going to be the one. Off to rob a bank now. Stay tuned.
I think like you, I generally can't think of like a good crime to commit.
Yeah, why do people do it?
Yeah. It's nothing really. I mean,
I'll kidnap someone.
that's one way to end this topic. I'll kidnap
just
something.
Someone to hang out with, innit?
Yeah, someone to hang out with.
I hope they're good. I hope they're not fucking moody about it, though.
Why?
Like, I hope you don't kidnap them and then you're like, should we watch TV? And they're like, no, I'm not really. I don't really want to watch TV with you.
Oh,
You kidnap me.
Really
Be like, fucking hell.
pisses
What?
me off.
Yeah, why did I fucking kidnap you? If I knew you were going to be in such a shit mood, I wouldn't have bothered.
I love that you just find a way to make you doing that just turn into an awful situation for you.
I did this because I wanted to spend some time with you and hang out and have a good time. Best you could do is buck your fucking ideas. I could have chosen anyone to kidnap. I chose you.
That's
A
great.
thanks would be nice.
That's great. I love it. So good.
Well, we really went on. That was a massive off the rails.
Yeah, that did go off the rails. But
I had a thing to say at the end of this, not a topic, but I was like, when we're done with the topics, I'll drop this.
Yeah, hit me.
I've forgotten it.
You did this like already middle of the podcast. Like, I had a great conversation. I don't remember what it was about.
Let me think. WSX? No.
Do you want to actually spill beans about
No,
Max
Kurt
Anstey?
Nickel was involved as a advisor or something, consultant, I think is the official title. I hear that Garibaldi, Club, GSM, Bud, and one other have pulled out. They're not concerned about the missing teams because one of their ideas is just to fill those spots on the gate with locals in each country. Here for that in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? There may now be a 250 class.
Okay.
Which wasn't going to happen. Yeah.
All right. Is that what it was, or do we need to refresh your memory about?
No,
something
that
else?
was just random tangent. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
remember
You
what
can't
I had to
remember
say.
what
Yeah.
you had to say. Not at all.
Stay
Interesting.
tuned next week, I guess.
Yeah, so you'll come back with what crime you want to commit and what random topic you forgot about, and maybe some information about what Chase said to you. You'll get that back in your
Yeah,
head.
well, that was funny. I
and
laughed.
then what was the other thing? Something about what was
Basically,
the other thing you forgot?
I can't remember because
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh, you forgot. Yeah. So
yeah, like the start of a book. What's it called? A prologue?
Yeah.
This is a prologue. Not much information here, but
or the
stay tuned.
preamble.
Yeah, not much information here, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
Next week it'll be Lewis is on the phone this week from the local jail.
And in between that time, we'll also drop our vlog of going to the zoo. So,
which will break the YouTube's record for the quickest video ever.
yep, in and out, and then we'll go to In-N-Out Hamburger after.
I don't. That's what have they done to In-N-Out?
What are you talking about?
I used to love it. I've had 4 this year, and to be honest, generous of me to go back 4 times, and it's turned to shit.
Well, let's save that for another
Okay.
podcast because I would love to discuss that with you. But we are way over time, and hopefully you guys enjoyed us going over time today. We had some very interesting takes on some fun topics. And yeah, this is LVK episode 16 brought to you by EVS Sports. Salt Lake City coming up, the finale this weekend. Excited to see what happens in the East-West Showdown. Interestingly, quickly on this, all 3 titles are still alive, which doesn't happen all that often, right?
Yeah, because Jett had wrapped it around early last year.
Yep.
So had Hunter, I
So
think.
at Hunter, yep, because they went 1E, 1 dub.
The year before Tomac had.
So,
Do you want to know what's a weird little coincidence? Tomac didn't race for last round in 22, didn't race for last round last year, and this year he hurt his thumb in Denver, so who knows? But like, He always raced for penultimate round. Even last year, tore his Achilles, but raced for penultimate round. Just a weird streak of like missing the last round only.
So maybe Eli should skip round 16 every year, just to make sure.
No,
that
because 22 he did his knee, didn't he? In like Atlanta. Is that why he missed it? I feel like
yeah,
that
it
was
was
why.
he's like tucked, he like jabbed it on the ground awkwardly. Or
But yeah,
whatever.
just a weird little like doesn't miss rounds, but for some reason just misses the last round.
So anyway, we'll rehash some stuff from Salt Lake City when we get back to you guys and talk about some new champions, 3 new champions. We might have 3 new topics to talk about with those champions each next week. So that'll be fun. But thanks guys for tuning in. LVK episode number 16, and we'll see you next week.